For more on this unfolding story, I'm joined live from Jakarta by senior Indonesian journalist Bhimanto Suwasoto. He's the head of news services at Berita Satu Media Holdings. That's a major privately owned Indonesian news company, publisher of the Jakarta Globe newspaper. Bhimanto Suwasoto, thank you very much for talking to us here on The World. The Australian Prime Minister has tonight interrupted proceedings in the Australian Parliament to express again his regret for the offence that's been caused to Indonesia. As the scale of this crisis in relations between the two countries grows, do you see anything that offers hope that this can be resolved quickly and without further offence?
Well, I think that this is a case of cultural differences where Australia and Indonesia are not on the same wavelength. Indonesia, I expect, is more or less is angry about this. I won't call it spying, it's rather snooping. And Australia is not responding in the way Indonesia would expect it should respond. And this is where the problem is. So basically, I think both countries realize that we're neighbors. We have to be on good terms. But as with neighbors anywhere, you have the good times, bad times, and this is a low time for us. Whether it will last or not will entirely depend, I think, on the way that Australia will respond, officials, I think. Okay. If it meets what Indonesian wants, then it would settle quickly.
Okay, I guess this comes down to the heart of the art of diplomacy. How do Indonesians want to see Australia responding to this crisis?
Do you know, they have the benefit of having the example in Europe, for example, in the case with Merkel and Obama, for example. And this is what they look at. And why doesn't it happen between Indonesia and Australia? This is about the same thing. It's about tapping. It's the same case, actually. But the reactions are different. Regret is not what we're asking for.
Well, and to that end, the Prime Minister this evening did say again that he expressed his regret, but he actually said he expressed regret for the offence caused by the Australian media reporting. That falls a long way short of expressing his saying sorry for snooping, as you say, or spying, depending on what term you want to use.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I mean, maybe Mr. Abbott doesn't realise the importance. This is a symbolic thing. It's more of a cultural thing. Short of an apology, you have to say, at least promise it won't happen or something like that. But just expressing regret, I think, falls short of what Indonesians are expecting.
Well, the Australian government was relying on the explanation that it is not in its practice to comment on matters involving espionage or electronic surveillance. Is that good enough, given that the evidence has been published in the media already, showing that this activity was occurring? It wasn't just speculation; it was a fact.
Do you know, that's what we call diplomacy. It doesn't have to be public. It doesn't have to be a leader saying we apologize and everything like that. It can be done, I know, by personal communication. I can take the example of Marciano, the head of the intelligence agency. He was saying his counterpart did have contact with them, and he assured him. This is common in politics. It's common in diplomacy, and that can be done at a higher level as well. Assurances don't have to be public. It could be made on a personal call, assurances that are more private in that matter, but it will be relayed to the public.
We've seen before in Australian politics that sorry, to paraphrase an old song, seems to be the hardest word for Australian politicians to say. Do you think if Tony Abbott just used that word and said that he was sorry for what had been done, that would help heal this rift?
It's not so much the wording, it's the impression that you regret a mistake that you did. Because so far we're saying like they're not commenting on the what is it, the work of the agencies in Australia. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but it's actually not us. This is what is lacking.
Do you have an opinion at all on what sort of signal this is likely to send to the people smugglers that are responsible for the boats that come to Australia? Do you see what sort of impact this might have on that illegal trade in people attempting to come to Australia?
I don't think in immediate it would make any difference, because one has also to be careful, because what the cooperation in human trafficking is under review. The only thing that they stopped is the Navy patrol, joint Navy patrol on that issue, and exchange of information. So basically, there's a lot that can be done in a short time, depending on the answer or the response rather from Australia.